Well, good evening, Happy New Year, and welcome to RFL as we give you a live look at Times Square. New Year's, the start of 2013, just 6 hours away on this December 31st. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Andrew Whitman as we bring you our New Year's special. And as you can tell from our intro and from the images and the monitors behind me, this was supposed to be a special New Year's Eve program with a look ahead to what headlines we're expecting to see in 2013. And I guess you could say that the first political headline we'll deal with is the unresolved headline from 2012, or to put it another way, can't really ring in 2013 without dealing with the fiscal cliff. So fiscal cliff, yay. It's a little depressing. And like any soap opera closing out a week or a season, Washington is ending the fiscal cliff with something of a cliffhanger. Get it? Cliffhanger?
Yeah,
fiscal.
well done.
A deal was reportedly close, but it was a limited deal and it left a lot of work for the coming year. And then the House got involved and did what the House does. They blew it all up. Let's get the latest from ABC's Karen Travers.
Happy New Year!
Don't pop the champagne just yet. But with only a few hours until the fiscal cliff deadline, there are signs of progress.
Now today, it appears that an agreement to prevent this New Year's tax hike is within sight. But it's not done. There are still issues left to resolve.
Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell and Vice President Biden have taken the lead on negotiations, and they're close to a mini deal, but not a done deal. The agreement would extend the current tax rates for households making up to $450,000 a year. That's up from $250,000 that the White House wanted. Increase the estate tax rate from 35% to 40%, and extend unemployment benefits for 1 year.
Let's pass the tax relief portion now. Let's take what's been agreed to and get moving.
But the sticking point, how long to push off those massive mandatory spending cuts to the Pentagon and domestic programs that would go into effect in the new year. Democrats want a 1-year extension. Republicans insist on dealing with it sooner. If there's no overall agreement, Americans will feel the impact of the fiscal cliff very quickly. The average American family will see a tax increase of more than $3,400.
All right, so with the last big story of 2012 about to become the first big story of 2013, let's bring in our panel to break it all down. TJ McCormick is a conservative radio host with a new on-air home hosting Good Morning Westchester on WVOX Radio 1460 on your AM dial.
That's how I say it.
That's it. And Dominic Carter, journalist, blogger, and about to smile and nod his head at the camera. Guys, thanks for joining us. Happy New Year.
And to you.
Same to you.
We can keep smiling as we plunge over the fiscal cliff.
2013.
We got to get the fiscal cliff out of the way because Washington can't.
Well said.
And just before we get into anything with the negotiations, pull me back from my own fiscal cliff. I am so disillusioned with Washington.
Why?
We've been talking about this for 2 months.
Why?
You're not surprised at all.
As Ed Koch used to say all the time, referring to the state legislature, he would say, throw the bums out. And maybe that applies to Congress. The fact of the matter is they're never going to get along with each other. And the American people need to get used to this. If a Republican is in the White House, the Democrats are going to snipe at him. If a Republican is if it's vice versa, it's going to be the same way. They're never going to get along with this president. If the president and the Democrats agree to X, they're going to push it to Y. TJ is going to disagree with that, but that's just the way it is.
When I looked at TJ to get us away from the cynicism, we're in trouble. TJ?
I am eternally optimistic. I believe that this fiscal cliff will be averted. I believe that the deal will go through. I believe in fairies and little gnomes who live in the garden behind my home, and I am 7 feet tall. Look, I honestly, it's gotten to the point where I just don't think. I think a lot of this is over a lot of their heads. That's one thing. I'm starting to remember some of these people that I've met over the last couple of years, these lawmakers and stuff. And to a person, they're rarely impressive individuals. They're very rarely impressive.
We agree on that.
Okay. And so I think, A, a lot of them are in over their heads. And I think, B, it's starting to really come to the fore that they're more concerned with the drama. They're more concerned with keeping their jobs. And when they actually have something to do, they really don't know what to do, because normally their MO is to stay just below the radar and do very little.
This brings me to a theory that I had today, which is because the House decided not to hold a vote today. And there was a lot of feedback online about, oh, the House is scuttling this again. The House is playing with fire one more time. But people's impression of the House is so low at this point that really, can another black eye really embarrass them at all? And you could say the same thing about Washington as a whole. Does it hurt anybody because everybody thinks so little of?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
see,
it does,
well,
it does.
well, here's the thing, though, is that the fascinating thing, the paradox that is the House of Representatives, Congress in general, is that what's their approval rating? 11, right? Give or take, any given day, 8 to 11 to 13 points. However, each individual representative, everybody likes their guy or their girl. Everybody likes Nita Lowey. But Congress, you know, everybody likes Nan Hayworth. They don't like boom. So that's
not enough.
Well,
people
not enough
Hayworth.
people like the Nan this time.
You know
right,
what's so
exactly.
bad about this, Andrew? What all of this, I mean, there are so many things we could snipe at and point at, but this comes down to, you mentioned keeping their jobs, Speaker Boehner and the election, he wants to remain Speaker. Now, why he wants to remain Speaker and he can't control his troops, I don't know. Maybe he wants to be Speaker because of the perks. I believe the Speaker gets use of a plane and so on. But why would you want to stay Speaker when you cannot control your caucus?
How can he become state Speaker?
Time only for yes or no on this. Does it get resolved before it impacts the economy?
Yes.
Maybe.
That wasn't one of the choices.
I'm sorry. Yes, I think so. I think so, yes.
Okay.
yes.
Thank you very much.
When they're playing with fire, they are playing with fire.
And I say yes also. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, what we originally came here to do tonight, looking beyond the fiscal cliff to other issues that could dominate in 2013 as we look forward, including two big ones in the last couple of months, gun control, as well as the legalization of marijuana and other stories as well. Stay with us.